Right, guys. It's like a lot of times I write into the script. I write a little bit. I want to talk about Israel. I want to talk about Gaza. I want to talk about the Palestinian people, the genocide that's going on there. And then it seems like we have so much domestic stuff to talk about every single day um, that it ends up sliding to the back of the docket. But not today. Today we're carving out time. Fuck what that old man has to say in his poopy pants. We are going to talk about Israel and Gaza a little bit, um, especially since we're coming up on 2 months now of a complete blockade of aid. Like this is a whole new level of sick. I mean, it was bad enough when we were not getting enough supplies in. It's bad uh, because there are no hospitals really standing left in Gaza. To deal with any of this stuff. But now there's an actual blockade of food, medicine, and water, and these people are being starved to death. And I wonder sometimes how we've gotten to a point where we're so desensitized or just not reacting to concentration camps. We're not reacting to people being starved, hospitals and schools being bombed, children's heads being just gushing blood. I mean, the images are sick, and it's an emotional experience to have to deal with. To look to do any sort of research on this stuff, and it's kind of it is nauseating. One of the things, uh, you know, we joke because I was born old and I still read the New York Times and the Atlantic. But one of the things that the New York Times does provide is excellent war correspondence, um, and they do report on these things. And the headlines, you know, leave something to be desired, but the reporting is good. And they're reporting that all the aid groups in Israel are raising the alarm with increasingly drastic messages that humanitarian support for the Gazans is on the verge of total collapse. Uh, to the Israeli authorities and those who can still reason with them, we say again, lift up this blockade. This is Tom Fletcher, the UN humanitarian chief. To the civilians left unprotected, no apology could suffice, but I'm truly sorry that we're unable to move the international community to prevent this injustice. And that is kind of wild to me. Like, we are unable to move any part of our country. We're the ones doing this. Like, it's not like Europe is sanctioned this. Like, everybody else sees this for what it is: war crimes, uh, for just inhuman nonsense. And now we have a president who not only says go ahead and do the things that you want to do, but is now actively arresting people under the guise of anti-Semitism. Anyone who talks badly about it, and it's pushing us into a further war with Iran. Like, Israel is in Iran, and they're pushing it further. So this president who has promised all this peace, we haven't seen any peace. I don't know. You guys have any thoughts on that so far?
I don't think for a man whose entire campaign was ran on ending wars on day one and hasn't ended any could possibly. I just don't understand how he's just escalating things. He escalated the situation in Ukraine. Yes, they've now made a minerals deal to give us access to their minerals, but the war has not ended. The war has not been ended. The Ukraine is still worried about their sovereignty. Uh, Ukraine just said when they have their little meeting in Russia on the 9th that he cannot guarantee the safety of world leaders in Russia on May 9th because this war is not over.
No, it's not. And that minerals deal is kind of just bullshit.
It's extortion. It's
It's
extortion.
extortion, and it's really not binding, and it really doesn't give Ukraine anything. It's just Ukraine trying to get somewhere with this. And Zelensky has to do it to show that he's willing to try. And it's sick.
Yeah, it's extortion by definition. Uh, Israel and Palestine has not gotten any better. It's obviously only getting worse. But they've learned that they can use the buzzword of terrorist,
Mhm.
and that people just don't care anymore. They've lost all empathy for people. If you use the word terrorist, then they don't care. You know what I mean? So even if there are small terrorist incels in these places, they're not at hospitals, they're not at children's schools, they're not the large majority of the population in Palestine that currently don't have access to food, water, or healthcare, all in the name of anti-terrorism.
No, and further on those points, like their ability to mount an attack like October 7th is less than zero at this point. It's less than zero. They have no shot. They are wholly dismantled in that regard. They are not going to bring back hostages any faster when it's the only leverage that they have against you, and you continue to bomb them anyway and just breeze right through the ceasefire. Have like the Netanyahu government who has taken, like you said, that playbook that America created, where usually like in order to have in democracies, in order to have a war, you would have to go to Congress and be like, we are attacking this country. And now, thanks to America's war on terror, we have this newfound justification where all this is a national emergency, national security. It has to be done now, and they have to act agilely and quickly to respond because it's a war on terror, not on a country. But we have an Israel now that is bombing Syria after Syria overthrew their dictatorship, a place where we should be doing diplomatic work and trying to install a friendly government there would could have been huge. It's been like Russia's thing for decades. We finally have an opportunity to do something good, and now Israel is bombing them. And it's very clear that whatever Israel does is the U.S. Like they are an extension of us at this point. They are basically a U.S. military territory. Um, and that's not helpful. And now we're this thing too. So I'll move like into the bombings in Yemen. We are not doing well. A bomb hit Tel Aviv for the first time in a long time. Usually, Israel's able to shoot these things down, but the Houthis have actually hit Israel with a bomb. It didn't kill anyone, but it injured a few near an airport, which is one of the higher protected areas in Israel. So that's a little bit scary. Like the U.S. has been notably worse on the battlefield as it escalates as well. So like we've lost warplanes, we've lost drones. It's not really being reported because again, just like everyone else, we have so much going on domestically. We are losing billions of dollars, tons of equipment, and doing a worse job. Even if you care about protecting Israel, we're doing a shittier job of it while simultaneously just walking around, seeking out hornets' nests and punting them across the street. We are not doing anybody any favors, and we have not to mention the dismantling of the complete dismantling of the State Department, and putting that inept little bozo Marco Rubio in charge of it to do absolutely nothing. I mean, there's no diplomacy either. So we're both bombing the shit out of these territories while not doing anything to raise morale or support for these people. So we're just angering people. There was a huge march in Yemen today of people protesting the United States and Israel. We are the bad guys in a huge way. I feel like the focus is a lot on the tariffs and stuff, but like in a visceral, life-changing way, we are the bad people.
So many people were duped thinking that Trump was going to be any different in Palestine than the Biden administration was. There was no stopping this. No matter who was president, they were going to keep bombing the shit out of Palestine and being pro-Israel because they're legitimately introducing bills in the House right now to fine you up to $1 million. Bro, that's not a fucking typo. Or 20 years in federal prison for anti-Semitism.
Yep.
The plan is to turn Palestine into Israel / Trump town or whatever the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah.
The plan was never not to do this.
No. You see it popping up all over the Middle East already with Trump hotels. we have a lot of work to do. We have to build a coalition from a much smaller part. I mean, we're talking we need to focus on getting Congress people elected, getting more progressive mayors and more progressive governors elected. That's where the change has to start. We are so far behind the eight ball in that regard. Like that's where it has to begin. We're not gonna like get AOC elected and get this and get major change in policy without more support than that. There is no in a democracy. We need to build coalitions, and this is what we were talking about with like the Sarah McBride interview and the Pete Buttigieg interview, and the talking about like learning how to have hold space for conversations with people that we disagree with, but like maybe not on everything, you know? Like obviously there's no talking to MAGA. Talking to your fellow liberals is probably something that we need to it's something that needs to happen. Can't be fucking attacking AOC or Bernie Sanders at rallies. That's
I agree. Gotta start reaching out to independents.
not helpful.
Talking to MAGA is a waste of time. There are definitely Republicans who don't agree with what's happening right now.
Yeah.
And there are definitely independents that don't agree with what's happening right now. And those are the people we gotta start talking to. As easy as it is to pick on the Democrats, as easy as the fuck it is, we're not going to right now because we have to come united.
And they deserve it. But the difference is that you are they people who can be persuaded? Perhaps. When you look at the Republican Party, there is nobody who is coming off of that position. You look like you got something to say.
Kind of. I was just like wondering because I'm not well versed in war or anything of the sorts. I'm just being honest about it. Why do the U.S. tend to like always stick their nose in things, war-wise?
Yeah.
Why is it because of the flex of power? Is it because we're supposed to? Is it like a deal, like we're supposed to aid certain places? Like I know that's like a thing, like you aid certain allies. I just don't understand why we even started going there in the first place.
Yeah. It's a post World War II world. We kind of like it was basically, you know, nationalism, what we have now, caused the first two world wars. Like trying to stay out of them, trying to pretend like the world wasn't interconnected and that we didn't have a role in the world, caused huge world wars, massive casualties, and we ended up involved in them anyway. So coming out of the Second World War, we have all those alliances. So yeah, a lot of it is like, you know, defending your alliances. But then again, you know, the only time the Article 5 of NATO has ever been invoked is for the United States, like after 9/11. Like that's the only time that NATO's ever had to come to anybody's thing. But we, you know, there's parts of it that are righteous, like when we help to defend someone who is attacked, you know, there is, but we've lost the plot in a big way.
That's what I'm thinking. It's just like too long. It's been too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, part of the problem is like what I was saying. Like we used to go to war with countries. Now we go to war with groups of terrorists who could be in multiple countries and could be anyone. Could be you. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Could be, you know, Kilmore Abrego Garcia, right? Like that's you don't get that due process or whatever. Like, but that's the excuse in the interest of national security and national emergencies. We can have these emergency declarations, and this autocratic power comes into play, and we end up in wars that we don't need to be in. We end up playing peacekeeper in places we don't need to be. And like I said, not all of it is starts from a bad intention, but you know when you stop caring about direct proportionate response and start doing it for revenge. Like the Israel's prime minister said that anything that happens, any attack from Yemen will be visited upon. You will pay sevenfold. That's a fucking problem. It's a fucking problem. That is not a proportionate response. That is vengeance, creating just more animosity, and you will never find peace that way. Never find peace that way. And we're stuck in it because one of our biggest allies is Israel, and Israel has been under Benjamin Netanyahu's rule for what? Brad, do you know the number? It's been
I don't know the yes, decades.
and that man is a war criminal. And that's not an exaggeration. Like that's been the International Court, Criminal Court, which the United States refuses to ratify, probably for this exact reason, has convicted him of war crime. He's a war criminal. In his own country, he's under trial for corruption, but they have a law that as long as they're at war, he can't be
tried.
So he stays at war. So Israel as an ally has been, more specifically, Benjamin Netanyahu as an ally has been a big part of our problem in the Middle East.
I don't see how that can financially benefit us being a ally to Israel.
I don't know if it's that. I know that they have an excellent spy network. Their intelligence is top notch. I think we benefit from that, having a partner in that in the Middle East. I think that's big.
That makes sense, except for we have like hundreds of military bases or military installations on foreign bases like all over the world.
Yeah.
So like we always know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah. But look at what they get to do. They get for the president, and now you have a particularly nefarious president, but all U.S. presidents have been able to use Israel as like a third-party peacekeeper. Without the U.S. having to go to war, they've been able to bomb people in the name of defending Israel. They've been able to send Israeli troops into, places where they haven't had to send U.S. troops. So I think that's really the benefit, is this sort of mask that we get to wear with Israel. I think that's our real benefit. We get to do evil shit through them. I think that has a lot.
That makes sense. Always love a scapegoat. Love a scapegoat.
Yeah. I really think that's a lot to do with it, because especially like our PR in the Middle East is horrible. We have done so much damage there for so long, and now we've left Afghanis behind under Biden and then sent them back under Trump. So I mean, you can't imagine doing worse by any country than we've done by the countries of the Middle East, Afghanistan, Pakistan, all of them. And yeah, if Trump thinks he's going to get a fucking nuclear deal out of Iran, he's lost his goddamn mind.
Never happening.
Never going to happen.
Never happen.
All right. Well, let's talk about other reasons people hate the U.S. How about the economy? Jake, this is a great place to jump into this conversation. So what is happening in France?
So in France, this creator made an app where you can scan products in stores, and it will tell you if it is from the U.S. or comes from any manufacturers in the U.S. And it says, "Don't buy here," and it has like a little cartoon Trump that comes up and says like "No," and shit like that, just so they don't buy any products from the U.S. And this is working because I guess the reporter is like, there are so many U.S. products on the shelves, like Coca-Cola, it's just staying on the shelves.
Yeah, that's the Canada model. Like Canada was the first one Canada was the first one to be attacked, but they have literally been boycotting U.S. products for a long time, and it's pretty effective.
It's so crazy how many jobs the economy is going to take away.
Yeah, it's crazy how, I mean, just looking around the world, thought that this was going to bring the world to their knees. This month, the only major economy that did not show growth, guesses? Hey,
it's ours.
It was ours. Everybody else showed growth. Imagine that.
No way. But he said on day one.
Oh my God, the list of day one promises that did not come true. It's literally all of them.
All of them.
Except for the cruelty and racism. He really has, I mean, he has followed the whole fucking way through with that, ain't he? You gotta give him credit where credit's due. My man has been fully racist. I doubt there is one member of the Klan who isn't dancing. Just all night hoedowns. Anyway, yes, the boycott Canada's huge. The tourism boycott. Tourism like a zero.
I have never seen so many ads for tourism for just the states, individual states.
Yeah.
Never. Tennessee, Florida, California. So many.
Yeah.
Michigan always. Well, Michigan's always been begging. But
of course, I'm only going there to piss in their lake.
It's just insane.
So pretty. Well, keep it.
Yeah, we went up there last year maybe for the 4th of July with her family, and I had to put $1 in a jar every time I said something bad about the state of Michigan. I was like $67 the morning of day 2.
Yeah. Man, you did a good job.
That's what I'm saying. I really had to reel it in.
Yeah, no
I
doubt.
fucking hate that place.
Fuck Michigan. We love you. Fuck. Yeah. Tennessee, Nevada, Las Vegas is a fucking ghost town.
Does not look like it's doing great. The legalizing gambling everywhere obviously had an effect on that.
Yes.
But the fact that people just don't want to come here also had an effect on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I don't legalize gambling, sure, maybe, but I mean, that's been around for 4 or 5 years, and Vegas was booming. So there's only one thing that seems to be, with all of these problems, there's really only this one little thing that's changed.
Stephen Miller. Just kidding. He hasn't changed one bit.
Yep. Oh man.
But yes, I mean, it's pretty apparent that like people aren't pro America right now.
No,
and
they aren't.
I don't like the idea of isolationism on a globe. It just seems really silly.
I just got my passport, and the last thing I want to do is go to another country and be like, oh my God, an American. How embarrassing. I can't go anywhere now.
No, because when you get back, like you're gonna get fucking attacked or detained at the airport or whatever.
Spies.
Yeah. Give me 2 seconds to plug my phone in.
Spies all over the place. When you were explaining war, all I could think of was Avatar: The Last Airbender, and it made so much sense to me putting that storyline together with the war storyline. So how we're going to win is we need the White Lotus, because that's how it happens in the show. So we need the White Lotus, which is not part of the nations, not part of the 4 nations. It's an independent from all these nations coming together to stop the war.
Yeah.
Nice.
That is...
I love Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Clearly. There it is.
And right now, America is a fire nation.
Yeah. America, we're the bad guys.
They're like, we added jobs. It outpaced the predictions.
Yeah. Yeah,
oh,
cool.
Did you?
One of the indicators that's kind of telling is jobs for college graduates dropped in a pretty large way.
Yeah, so because that's going to be my argument when I start applying for real jobs. I'm like, you can't discriminate on me anymore. Those degrees don't mean anything.
Yeah. Jobs are opening up all over blueberry fields, up in peach trees, across hotels, restaurants, construction sites. Mm-hmm. July's coming. Don't you guys want to go be a roofer in July? Let me tell you, I've been there, pal. I love the heat. That's rough. Real close to the sun on the 3rd story. Fucking black tar paper, just slurping the sun up. Yeah. It's a good time. I cannot move nearly as fast as that either. You can't pay me enough to run across the roof like some of the people that I've seen do. So yeah, I don't know what they're going to do. But there are jobs. There are jobs. There are no wages, but there are jobs.
Yes.
Yeah, we've lost the plot on that one. It's always been the talk is always jobs, jobs, jobs. But I think we saw, especially under Biden, was like, oh, why if all these jobs are coming, why don't people feel it? Well, because wages weren't coming up fast enough. They were coming up, but not fast enough. We are so fucking far behind in wages. That's the problem. We are nowhere near where we should be for living wages. That's the real issue. And this is not helping. Forcing us to compete for part-time job at Taco Bell is not helping.
Ain't it? It ain't it.
It ain't it, pal.
I'm grateful to be employed right now.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Never been so happy to breathe flower in my life. White lung pop. The problem we've got coming up, though, is that soon a lot of the shelves are going to be emptying. We have a very familiar problem for those of us who lived through COVID and remember what supply chain issues look like. So, whether or not Trump waves his magic wand and takes off tariffs or puts more tariffs on or does whatever the fuck he wants to do at this point, he has disrupted the supply chain in a major way. Ports across the country, and this is not fake, folks. This is well reported, well recorded. Plenty of people live in Seattle, Los Angeles, Boston, all over the country where these things come in to port, and the ports are empty. The trucks have nothing to haul. The warehouses can't stay full forever. So it is looking like, most experts saying, within the next 1 to 2 weeks, we're going to feel very severe shortages. Trump administration officials were asked about why they were hoarding supplies like toilet paper and stuff, and they said, well, we're not stupid. So his own people who work in and around the White House, are freaking out. So bad times coming. Bad times are coming. And that's only part of the picture. Once those trucks, you have jobs unloading trains, trucks, ships, all those jobs, there's no work for those guys. So there will be layoffs. Not to mention all the products that won't be on the shelf. It's a perfect storm of bullshit. But don't worry, drill baby drill, right? But I know there's a little problem with that too. Oh, Brad, why don't you tell me a little bit more about this guy, Mr. Global? For those who don't know, give him the NPR background.
All right, so he's in the oil industry. He's made it his career, and he's, I don't know, been on TikTok. His presence has been for like the last years, at least when I noticed him, and he just speaks on where the oil market is heading. Mm-hmm. So he is essentially saying that because OPEC has agreed to now they are going to produce 400,000 more barrels a day, it will ultimately drive the price of oil way down, which is great for right this second at the gas pump. Not great for the fact that there will be no more fucking drilling. There will be no more drilling. We are losing right now. We're shutting down 4 rigs a week right now. Before OPEC has said that they're going to increase production by 400,000. Rigs are shutting down at an average of 4 a week. So OPEC ups their production. It's obviously going to drive the price of oil down. They have to give it to us cheaper, or they don't, and then everybody can see that it's just about the businesses making profits, because gas prices are still increasing, even though people are losing their fucking jobs, and the oil rigs are shutting down. Gas at the pump is still increasing. So either all this oil is produced, gas prices plummet, and nobody in the oil field's working, because now the supply is outweighing the demand. So they're going to cut jobs because these businesses aren't willing to lose their billions and billions and billions in profits.
No,
They
no.
don't under. There's no way that these people can really think that this is a good thing. Like, they will cheer because if these people don't work in the oil industry, they do not give a fuck about you. They don't give a shit.
Yeah.
They didn't vote for you. I promise you, they didn't vote for any of you in the oil fields. They voted strictly for themselves. If you're in the oil fields working and you voted for this, that's kind of your bad because we told you.
Mm-hmm.
But these other people don't care about you. So even if gas prices are low at the pump, they don't care that you lost your job and you can't feed your family and none of that. They don't give a shit.
No.
There is no drill baby drill. That's not a thing. It's not happening.
No, they live by that strong Republican principle: take care of me and mine first. And it's when it's oil executives taking care of them and theirs, they reckon they need a bit more than you do to keep their people in the homes that they love. Kind of like the White Lotus, The man knew that his wife was not going to live in a smaller home. You know what I mean? Like, he had to, like, these. That's what oil. I mean, that's the kind of rich that you're talking about when you're talking about even mid-level oil executives. And it's not just that. I mean, there's all along oil and gas lines. There are people, welders and repair and maintenance these lines. I mean, there's just thousands and thousands of jobs. Big business, and they're and we, as climate activists often say, you can't drink oil. So it's cool that we're going to destroy the fucking planet pumping all this oil, but, like, what are you going to do with it all? What are you going to do with it all? And we don't have nothing to ship across the country, so truckers ain't going to be using it. Ain't no reason to put it in ships. I don't know. It's bad. Nobody's
And
using
gas,
flying planes.
and nowhere in the country is gas $1.98 a gallon. For those of you unaware, nowhere in the country.
Nowhere. Not in some random small town in Florida. Not one goddamn fucking place. If you fucking listen, Maggie, if you want to fucking somebody believe it, then you better produce a real picture of you with today's New York Times. Make you buy a fucking lefty rag, piece of shit. You go buy a copy of the New York Times, you hold it up, and you take a picture in front of that gas pump. I mean, we'll have experts analyze whether or not it's AI or not, because it just doesn't exist. It does not exist. Not here in reality. I know you don't want to lose your MAGA fun card by accepting reality, but there is no $1.98 gas, and there will be no $1.98 gas. Let me tell you, if gas becomes $1.98, you're gonna have a lot more problems than filling your tank.
Yeah, that's the issue, bro.
Promise. People are like, "Oh, well, Trump is president. Gas was $1.95." Yeah, where the fuck could you go, Billy Bob? Goddamn nowhere.
Gas was cheap because no one needed it.
Right. Couldn't use it. What the hell are we gonna do? What the hell are we gonna do with all this gas? Nothing.
Okay.
All right. Here's one. Is he stupid or is he lying? All right. We're negotiating with many countries, but at the end of this, I'll set my own deals because I set the deal. They don't set the deal. Now, obviously, if you make a deal, you're making a deal with somebody. You're not just saying. You're not just setting a deal. So, is it?
I declare bankruptcy.
I declare bankruptcy. That's not how this works. That's not how this works. So, it's kind of like saying, like, that, like, right now we have a deal with every country in the world to have a 10% tariff. Like, wasn't a deal. So, is that stupid or is it gaslighting? I just don't know. Like, is he that dumb that he doesn't get it, or is he think that we're that dumb that we don't get it?
It's the second one.
He thinks we're that dumb.
Yep.
That dumb.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Because there's a majority of this population that truly are. They're just like the master of the deal. Dude, Carolyn Levitt tells us that he is the master of the deal.
Yes. Art of the deal. Art of the deal. Chapter 9, Art of the Deal. Casinos. Trump's an expert.
Imagine the deck just being stacked in your favor and you somehow bankrupt it.
Yeah. So when I continue on with this quote, I'll tell you, maybe you might change your tune. I think you might start to think maybe he's just stupid because the president is still continuing to argue this point that every country, almost without fail, friend and foe, have been ripping off the U.S. for years. Ripping us
Yeah,
off by selling us things.
they have.
Yes, have they?
Mm-hmm.
That
I
works.
think that he's dumb on that one. I don't think he's a liar. I think he's dumb.
That one, I could see him just being an idiot because he doesn't know what's going on. That's just like something that makes it crazy powerful.
Yeah.
Get these people like, oh my gosh, are you serious?
Yeah, I really think he believes that because he's been talking about that one since the 80s. Like,
I
Yeah.
think he believes that one.
yeah, I think he does. I really think he does. And that's scary because, I mean, that means the man he's going to go to the map for that one. He's going to go to the map for that one.
Yeah, he just doesn't understand it.
They ever do psych tests on presidential candidates? Do we ever like check, like, we always do like background checks and email checks, but like, do we ever like check their psych? You know what I mean?
No, no. I mean,
I think they should, especially at this age. For both of them, him and Biden both should have been fucking cognitively
I
checked
need a
all the
psycho
time.
evaluation, and they need to
Yep,
be
yep.
released.
I think you just lay that blanket across. You know what I mean? Like, let them all take a cognitive test, no matter what your age is. This way, it's
Yeah.
not age. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure, yes.
I
Sure.
want to check their brain age too. We need.
Yeah, no. I mean, we have sophisticated ways of doing things. Unlike whatever Donald Trump's doing, where he's like, which blue elephant is blue? He's like, that one. Like, good
Yeah.
job, President.
Pete Hanks that's up there pickled, and we haven't done a cognitive test on him.
Listen, Pete. Oh, Pete. Oh my Pete. Man. So, to further stretch the brain, we're not dealing with China at all. We're not. Because the tariff is so high that they basically can't deal. And because of that, we're saving billions of dollars. You need that one again? It's a lot. It's a lot. So, we're not dealing with China at all because the tariff is so high that they basically can't deal. And because of that, we're saving billions of dollars. So I guess we're saving billions of dollars because we can't buy the things we need. So,
Well, they needed higher bonuses.
oh, okay.
Did you hear
Sure.
about the bonuses? Yeah, the bonuses.
Yeah, the bonuses. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, $42,000 for every ICE agent. About the average of $2,500 as a bonus.
I get it. 20. Oh my god, I would cry if I got that bonus.
Rich.
Oh my god.
What the fuck? Oh my god. Yeah. So, yeah, we're not dealing with China because they can't deal, or because they're not calling. Donald, is that why we're not dealing with China? Like, I think we might not be dealing with China because they're not calling. They don't give a fuck. China actually is. They might be losing some money, but they're gaining so much geopolitically. I'm not sure that they're really counting this as a loss.
I always felt like why they were always on thin ice with us. I think this is just like that. This is a platform permanent.
All of these things like could have been accomplished with the conversation. Like, if you could just pick the worst way to do this, it was this.
You
Like,
see
this-
him have conversations though. It's not a conversation. He's just telling them things.
Right.
And then he goes on like a 15-minute rant about why we only need $4 instead of 12. Like, you can't actually have a conversation with the guy.
No, he's not. Someone was just going to say, like, he's not even having a conversation with them. He's having a conversation with himself.
Yes.
He's
He
talking.
doesn't know where it's going half the time either, so that's why he just goes off, because he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Right. That's this quote in a nutshell. We're not doing China at all because the tariff is so high. They basically can't. No, you are literally just talking. You're in a closet talking to yourself. The man is a bleeding moron for that one. That one's not complicated. So at a certain point, I'll just be setting a certain tariff number. So, art of the deal, complex negotiations, all of this is just for nothing. For nothing. You know, one economist suggested if you really wanted to do it this way, you would have like laid out a plan and been like, "This is what I'm going to do 6 months from now." React, make a deal, prepare, tell me how you're going to, invest in America, but you don't do it and then be like, "Fix it," and everybody's like, "Fix what?" And you're like, "I'm busy." Like that's not there's no art of the deal there. Like that's just stupid. It's bleedingly stupid. And like we said, we're all about to feel that one. So yeah, that's fun.
Catholics hate Trump now.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yes.
The hardest group to convince.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
At least to admit it. No. They hate you. Take it easy. They hate you. But they'll be the last ones to admit it.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of backlash for that shit.
And Trump's defense, white robe, pointy hat, kind of just fitting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's definitely queenie enough to pull it off. There's no doubt about that. Like he definitely looks like the kind of person who would like love the gold crozier and the rings. I'm sure of it, man. Like while he's telling us we don't need dolls, he's gold plating the ceiling of the White House. Like
It's so crazy, dude. It's really so crazy.
at the military parade, man. I just hope I live long enough to see this man's fucking Nuremberg trials. Like this is
Imagine a draft dodger getting a military parade. There's people that are like, hell yeah, dude. This is saving money, my friend.
oh my god, yeah, yeah. I'm sure that like you don't start a tank for less than $1 million. You know what I mean? Like you don't get to fire one of them things up for like under 900 grand.
Right. We're just going to roll through town.
Yeah,
Insane.
that's why we're driving down the price of oil. Make sure try to use the price of this military parade.
Has to be the dumbest timeline.
It's hard to imagine. It's hard to imagine. Like I'm like upset with myself because I can't think of anything dumber. Like I can't get ahead of this plot.
Me either, and I want to sometimes. They're like, all right, this is happening next. And then they're like, gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, at least, I mean, every comedy that's ever been written at some point, you're like, I saw that joke coming.
Yeah.
Not here. All right, that's the show. Thanks for listening, watching. Follow us on YouTube and Substack. Check us out on TikTok, Instagram, and Threads. Like and share our stuff. Tell your friends. And thank you for being part of the Derealization Nation Network. T-shirts are ordered and inbound and will be on sale soon. Very excited about that. Thanks for listening and watching. Until next time, I'm John.
I'm Jake.
And I'm Brad.
That's what's left.